Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Cosby. I'm the superintendent of Trotwood-Madison schools, and I'm very excited to be able to share some time with you today. Today, we have with us Lisa Miner. She's our director of curriculum and instruction. And we also have with us Ella Jordan Isaacs. She's also over student services. She works with communications, as I'm sure you all know, is your Sunday night voice. And she also does a lot with our parents. So she'll be on with us today as well. So to get us started, what we're talking about today is what it's going to look like as we move into this world of remote education. And we want to make sure that you realize that this is not going to be the same way that it was when we all had to go home in March. At that time, as you can imagine, our teachers had 2 or 3 days to, figure everything out and to make something happen for our students. And with that limited time, I would say they did an excellent job. We did the best that we could do at the time. Since then, we have spent quite a bit of time preparing for this fall, not knowing how we were going to go back, hoping that we would be able to go back into schools this school year as if nothing had happened, as if, we had received some type of vaccination and things were wonderful. As it's turned out, and you all know, that we had to make the decision to keep our students safe. And to do that, we decided, along with the input from families and from staff, that the safest way to educate our students was to go remote. The good news for us is that my team is so forward thinking that all starting in March, April, May, they began training and preparing for how we could come back if we had to do it remotely. And what you're going to see today is the result of that hard work. We've actually shown this and used it over the summer for summer school, and we really got very positive feedback. We are so excited and optimistic that what you're going to have this school year for your families, your students, is going to be excellent. Your students will not fall behind. If we feel that they are, or you feel that they are, you're going to realize that you have support and people who can help you and will assist. And you're going to see that as we move throughout the day, or throughout this hour, actually. So the first thing I would like to do is to take this opportunity to share with you how easily you will be able to find out what your students need to know on any given day. We're going to show you how you go to your website and how to access this information. Luke, can we get on the site? All right. What you're looking at now is the Trotwood-Madison website. You would go there as you always do. At the very top part in the blue, if you have not had a chance to look at our plan, there is a link to that information. And so you'll be able to find out, what our plan is. But if you come over to the left-hand side, you'll see where it says online learning. And here you will see what we're calling our launch pad. And it says Trotwood-Madison online learning. As you can see, there is a message. It's a welcome to you. And then as you scroll down, you'll see a very big picture. It's a little bit bigger than I would have put on there, but it's a welcome message from me. And so when you have an opportunity, please read that. Okay, as you continue over where it says home, there's a sign that says help desk. I would like for you to go to the help desk, and you're going to see, as I was telling you, that there will be help for you if you have some issues with technology. This is a technology help desk that's on the front page. So we'll move down and you'll see the big help button. And directly under that help button, there is a link, Technology Help Desk. We're going to click on that now so that you can see what it is we're offering there. We have a help desk team. There's a person from each building who will be able to be contacted. And my suggestion to you would be to use the email address, because it's so much easier and quicker to get back to you by email than by phone. But you'll see those people who'll be helping you in each building. Now, to the right of that, from where I'm sitting, there are videos also that will show you how to do some of the things that we get asked the most about. For example, how to log in, how to set up a hotspot, and then Google Classroom and how to use that. So there's information, and we'll keep updating that help desk so that as you need information, you will be able to find it, if it's technology oriented, right here on your website on the home page. So now we're going to go back to our home site for online learning. So remember, we clicked on, we went to online learning, and now we're going to go back home, scroll down. You'll only need the help desk if you need it. Otherwise, you would come in and you're going to go down, you're going to see my message, and below that are pictures of each of the buildings. So there are 5 different pictures here. When you get to your building, then I want you to click on it. And in this case, I'm going to use the high school to share with you what theirs looks like. So the high school is going to have the same type of message. And I know for a fact that Mr. McCray has been really busy, so he has not had a chance to put his picture up in his message, but that will be there, I will assure you. And then you'll select the grade level of your student. So I'm going to have a 10th grade student today. So we're going to go into the 10th grade site, and you're going to meet your 10th grade teachers. The teachers will all be listed here, and they will put their pictures up. If you'll remember, our teachers have been working over the summer, and they've been training, and the majority of them, the vast majority, have gotten quite a bit of training this summer. But these are 2 of our stars, and so we want to share with you what Mrs. Cockcroft has in store for her grade level. So when you come in, this is what your student would see, or you would see. It would say, welcome to her website. And you see a little emoji that she has of herself. And as you scroll down her site, she's going to put up the bell schedule. Now, each one will look a little different because the teachers get to build this themselves. Just like they put their bulletin boards up, that's how they're going to do their website page. She has a motivational picture here. She tells you a little bit about who she is, and we're going to click on that so that you can get a chance to see, this is my new teacher. What can I find out about her? So you'll scroll down, and has a message for her students. We can see that she went to Wright State, and she has her master's. And as you move down, she has some other pictures, and you can tell she wants you just to know a little bit about who she is. She has pictures of graduation and Spirit Week and social distancing, some of the things she's had to do. So that's this one teacher. The other teachers would have different things, obviously, on their site. Now, let's go back up, and we're going to go to English 10, and you can do that on her side. Yes, it says English 10. We'll select that, and we're going to go into her general class, English 10 general class. As you scroll down, she's going to tell you her office hours. She's going to tell you her calendar, so you'll get to see what things are needed there. And then, parents, I know this is what's most important to you. What are my students' assignments? So you'll look here, and she will have her weekly learning targets. In this case, she has a video message, and we don't have to listen to that one, but this is the type of thing she can do. She has a video message explaining why one of her learning targets have been taken down. But under English 10, let's look at what a general unit playlist looks like. Okay, so for this one, the unit is professionalism, portfolios, and self-advocacy. And she has a TED Talk that she would ask students to look at. Now, she's going to have it set up so that you know at what date she expects that TED Talk to be viewed and everything. And then as we move down, you'll see that it says this week, what I can do. And she's going to put in there what her expectation of you is and how long it would take it to happen. And then we're going to go into a playlist in more detail in a few minutes. So I'm not going to say much more about that. But parents, that's where you can find out what your child is expected to do that week. And the way it works is she'll also have on there when you will have your face-to-face meeting with her, that expectation that you are there to go over some of the work that's already been assigned. All right. And then as you continue down, she has her next unit. So she'll be telling you what's coming up next so that you're always in the know of what's happening. She has these for all of the classes that she teaches. And in her case, she's teaching 12th grade and honors English. And so that's just to give you a small example of how easy it is to get onto our website and then to find online learning. Then you will move right into your school that the student is going to, and then you'll get to your teacher. At this point, I'm going to hand things over to Lisa Miner, and she's going to talk to you a little bit more about playlist.
Thank you, Dr. Cosby, for walking us through the landing pages and the websites. And, the next part I will talk about, as Dr. Cosby said, is the playlist. And when you hear playlist, just think of a virtual lesson plan. And so imagine if you're working all day and maybe your child is working from home with a caregiver, or they're old enough to be home alone, and you come home and like we all do as parents, what do you have to do, or what's your assignment? And they say, oh, I'm finished for the day or whatever, and you really don't know. Well, at your fingertips, our goal is to provide every parent with the actual playlist through the website that their child is working on. And so you will have this for all grades, all teachers. We start, as Dr. Cosby said, we started training all of our teachers on it in the spring when we knew we needed to improve the quality of learning online in case we didn't know, we couldn't predict the future with the virus, but we wanted to make sure we were prepared that whether we're face-to-face or whether we're virtual as we are now, your child would still get a quality education. So Luke will pull up an example of a playlist that we have that our teachers are required to complete. And I'll go over today what the components are that you'll see, whether they're preschool all the way to 12th grade. We're using the same framework. It may look differently, but these are the things that you can expect to see and be able to refer to if you have questions about your child's assignments. Every playlist will have objectives or standards, I can statements of what the child is expected to learn, know, and be able to do. So you can see at the top of this one, we have I can for the week. She's got the date. You can see it right at the top, the teachers' names, and they worked collaboratively on this. Week 1, August 24th through the 28th. I can write a professional email that is appropriate to task, purpose, and audience. And you can read all the bullets down there. I can use references, successfully navigate the Google sites, all about the kids getting ready and comfortable with the online learning. Section 1 of the playlist is learn about it. What are we learning about? So you can read to the side how she has engage in activities below and choose at least one of the items. You can see how the assignments are assigned. You'll see the activity, the videos, the links, all of the online resources. They even have identified the number of minutes, 25 minutes. Every teacher in Trotwood's required to do a face-to-face with their students every day. So you should be able to, with confidence, ask your child, what time is your class meeting, or what time is your Google Meet, or your Zoom meeting, as it shows here, and see what time it is and what time they should be logging in. And then scrolling down to the middle is a practice it section. And that may not be online. That may be things they're doing independently on their own. We know research shows that children shouldn't be online for multiple hours at a time. So we have them required to do mini lessons, provide the assignments, and then allow the students to practice that skill. So this is the practice section. And then the evidence. What's the assessment? How do we know that they learned it? And you can see at the very bottom of every playlist, there will be evidence. Now, teachers were given the flexibility to create this framework different ways. So we've got some third grade teachers that show it as a PowerPoint slide. This is more of a basic one for high school. Another thing that we're doing, because this is new, is we're giving our students, student voice is so important, an opportunity to reflect on what they're learning. And you can see where we'd like them to fill it out after they finish the lessons, what helped them, what didn't help them, how could we make it better. These are all the things that we're providing in order to make sure we're providing a quality and the best instruction we can. Some of the questions that we've had is, what if my child needs help, extra support? On the landing page, the teacher will have a way that she will communicate what his or her office hours will be. They're also required we have a support person assigned to each class. So it's kind of like a tutor or some of our paraprofessionals. So that'll be a second person that they can reach out to if needing help. And so as we're building it, these are some things that our families, we did a focus group in the summer, and our parents gave us some tips on how we could get better. And a lot of these ideas we incorporated because of that. So I just appreciate everybody being on the call today. Those are the details of the playlist. So if you hear your child speaking of playlist, just think of it as our virtual lesson plan.
Okay, and now we'll have Miss Jordan Isaacs come on.
Thank you, Dr. Cosby. Good afternoon, everyone. Ms. Miner, thank you again for sharing the landing pages with us. Dr. Cosby, Mrs. Miner, I have organized our questions from families and stakeholders, and I want to start by thanking them for reviewing the video presentation and the slide presentation that was posted on the district's website and social media pages on July 20th. So I've organized our questions today by our buildings, high school, middle school, Westbrook Village, or elementary buildings and primary, technology questions, questions related to special ed, IEP, and gifted, testing questions, and then general questions. So I'll start with the general questions if there's no issue with that. The first question is, if a student needs to change their schedule, how will they successfully manage that? And because you were able to get these questions in advance, I do have answers. If that's okay, I can read the responses. Students will be able to contact their school counselors directly to make any schedule changes. How will teachers divide the class and ensure students are working to their highest level of potential? The answer: there will be daily face-to-face check-ins and lessons provided virtually. All assignments will be turned in through Google Classroom, and families and students will have 24/7 access to the teacher's playlist or virtual lesson plans. Teachers have received specialized training to ensure that all students receive a quality online education. How will additional assistance be provided for a child if needed? Answer: we will have virtual support staff assigned to each teacher's classroom who will then serve as tutoring or an assignment clarification support. We will also have a help desk during the day and after hours available to families. When will conferences for teachers fall into effect? There will be an opportunity for weekly conference sessions with students and families each Friday. We will still hold the regularly scheduled conferences after first quarter. They will either be virtually or face-to-face, depending on what the recommendations are from the Ohio Department of Health. One question that just came through: how often will teachers be putting in grades and updating progress book? Would you like to respond to that, Ms. Minor? And I can record that for our next session.
Yes. Teachers will be expected to update the grades weekly. The only exceptions would be those courses that are music, maybe some of our unified arts, art, and physical education, where they may only see the students once a week, so they may be updating their grades once every 2 weeks or monthly, depending on the availability and access that they have with the kids. But the general teachers that see their kids regularly, there should be grades weekly. And there should be ongoing. Remember, every teacher will have the office hours, and parents will have access to them to ask them direct questions as well if they're ever concerned about how their child is performing.
Thank you, Mrs. Minor. Next category, testing. Will information be provided for state testing requirements or changes? The answer, yes. As we receive information from the Ohio Department of Education, we will most certainly share that information with families so that they can be aware of those changes. Will information be provided for the SAT and ACT testing? Yes. The school and district virtual landing page or website will provide all state and national testing updates. Next question. How will the beginning, middle, and end of state diagnostic testing be given? We will follow the state scheduled testing requirements as directed from the Ohio Department of Education. No information has been provided at this time. The district will hold 2 benchmarking assessments, one in September and the other in January. Finally, has a date been determined as to when the state test will be given? At this time, that answer is no. No information has been communicated at this time. Technology questions. If something happens to the Chromebook my child is using, how do I bring it in if everything is online? The help desk will be available for tech support. The building media specialist is the first point of contact. If there is a need to have a device serviced, central office is open by appointment. Special ed category, IEP and gifted. The parent says, I have 2 children. One child has an IEP, and online learning assessments were far too much for my son in March. He needs one-on-one learning. Who is able to help with that? Would you like to respond, Ms. Minor?
Oh, yes.
This was a question that came in.
Oh, okay. We have intervention specialists that have also been trained, and they are trained to provide support aligned to the child's IEP. So any specialized work, we are prepared to provide, whether it's small group, and everything we need to do legally to adhere to that IEP is what will happen. During the spring, we were able to do small group one-on-one. This time, it will be of a much better quality. As far as the gifted students, we'll be providing the same. We've got gifted teachers, intervention specialists. Everyone has received this specialized training in order to provide support to all the children as needed by their plan. So it'll be individualized according to whatever that specific educational plan requires.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that concludes those categories for technology, special ed, IEP, gifted, testing, and general questions. These are building specific questions at this time.
Ms. Jordan.
There's some in the chat, Mrs. Jordan. So one question is, will computers be available to students? And when will we be able to pick up the laptops? Great question. Yes, our technology teams have been working all summer. Unlike in the spring, we will be able to provide them one-to-one to each child, not each household. So if you've got 3 children, you will receive 3 computers. We also have a tentative schedule, and we're asking families to really stay in touch or listen up for the announcements. As we know, Mrs. Jordan Isaac gives us updates, but you'll also get specific updates from your buildings because the week of August 10th is our goal to start distributing computers. And it'll, for social distancing, the schools will do it in small groups to come to the buildings. So thanks for that question.
Okay.
I also would like to add to that. I was told by the technology department that we still have about 30 or so computers that have not been returned. And those will need to be returned before those family members can receive another computer. So you don't just hold on to the one that you either got at the end of the school year or that you received over the summer. If you've already been given a computer, it needs to be returned so that it can be checked out, fixed up, and prepared to be distributed again. Thank you.
Thank you. I have maybe 6 questions left. For the middle school, will there still be fall sports? Will there be clubs and student government? The answer, student safety is our priority. While we do have preliminary plans, we are still meeting with our coaches and extracurriculum staff, following closely the guidelines from the Ohio High School Athletic Association, gaining their perspective, and of course, guidelines from the Ohio Department of Health before we determine our final plan. Elementary. Will students still be doing PBIS? The answer, yes. We are encouraging all building teams to have intentional methods to plan for rewards and recognition while students are experiencing a virtual learning experience. With the decision being made to be 100% virtual, what does this mean for preschoolers when they start school? Since the curriculum is digital, a portion of the program is interactive online activities, which is designed to engage both families, the student, and caregivers. Another question that came in was, will there be any changes in how students earn credits? And will there be any issues for seniors preparing transcripts for college with them being online for the first 9 weeks? And that was a new question that.
Oh, okay. So our expectation is we are still following Ohio Department of Ed standards. They will still get the same quality education as they would if they were face-to-face. Our counseling office is open and able to receive and also provide support for planning for college, whether it be transcripts, applying for the university's scholarship supports, all of those things. We will still have maybe virtual meetings to support those students and families. We will also be providing extra support and guidance regarding any type of changes in Ohio Department of Ed requirements. As we know, they're also making updates as we speak. So as soon as we hear anything about end of course exams or any different requirements, because so many people in the state are virtual, we will be communicating that as soon as possible to families.
Okay, thank you. Additional questions. Will students be able to connect with various colleges, or will there be opportunities for assistance? And I think you just answered that, Ms. Minor, with things like the FAFSA and college applications. And so as you stated, our counseling staff will be available. Certainly they can host virtual meetings, and if our health pandemic changes, then definitely they can do those in face-to-face. Another question, will the required teacher face-to-face meetings be one-on-one or group setting?
They will be required to, because we have to do attendance, they will have an all-class meeting, a group setting, but they're also trained to do one-on-one and small group. So you should see a variety of interactions from the teachers and the support staff throughout the week. We are putting to the side time for parent-teacher conference one-to-one on Fridays as scheduled, by appointment. But you'll see face-to-face, it'll be a group, initially because the teachers will be taking attendance, but they'll also do breakout groups of smaller environments. And the nice thing about the virtual is you'll be able to observe, see, and be engaged in the process. So you'll know firsthand what's going on with your child's education.
Thank you, Ms. Minor. Except for the daily teacher meetings, will students be required to be at their computer at a certain time, i.e., is there any specific attendance requirements?
Yes, there will definitely be attendance requirements. And as we showed the playlist, the teachers will be communicating that to their students the first week. You'll probably get some information when you check out the computers as well, because each building will have a standard way that they're going to do attendance. So there will be, so we will definitely depend on our families to work with us on that. Maybe it's a 9 o'clock check-in, a 9:30 check-in. There will be times when each of your child's teachers will want to see your child face to face. Trying to look at the chat to see if I covered, and that will be communicated, and you'll be able to see it on the playlist and or the landing page.
Okay. Dr. Cosby, Mrs. Minor, would you like for me to post these questions and answers on our district Facebook page? Would you think that may help?
Great idea.
Navigate that? I know one of the additional questions that asked was, are students going to be required to wear uniforms even though they're in a virtual learning setting?
Well, I will jump in and take a stab at that one since we haven't actually discussed it, but I can't imagine we're going to be checking on uniforms. So let's say no, but appropriately dressed. So we don't want them to come on in their, pajamas, if you can tell, but from the top up, we would like for them to be dressed appropriately for school.
Okay. The face-to-face meetings, are they required? What if there's a challenge with the parent's work schedule that doesn't permit the child to attend due to age?
If that question is asking if they can't make the time that the teacher set because let's say the child is in childcare, then they can still have an opportunity to connect with that teacher. As we showed you, each teacher has, information about how to connect with them. So you will know expectations for the student, and some of their things will be recorded, but they will check in when you can check in if that is the issue. I'm thinking that's what we're talking about. You may have a first grader who's not at home at 8 a.m. and they may not be in a place if they're at a childcare center to check in at 8 a.m. But when they get home, make contact with that teacher and let them know your schedule. That's the way I would handle that.
Yeah, I would agree. And maybe when you pick up the computer, and there will be virtual open houses and getting to know the teacher opportunities. If there are any challenges like that, tell the teacher up front so they know. They may be able to front load you, or definitely make sure the lessons are recorded so that your child can at least get the full benefit of that interaction. And like Dr. Cosby said, they may make some special arrangements on your behalf.
Okay. Right now, I'm checking our social media. I do not have any additional questions at this time. And I'm checking our different email just to see. Okay.
Okay, great.
Is there any support available for parents? Because some people may feel completely overwhelmed by all of these new changes and teaching their children at home.
Yeah. So we definitely, one thing I'm excited about, and Dr. Cosby's helped us, make this happen is we have a new student supports director who's excellent. And we have a lot of supports for our students with social, mental health and social workers. And we have a partnership with Samaritan Behavioral Health, and they do reach out for and help families too. One thing we've tried to design is a system this time so it will not be overwhelming. And so we really would like to hear if, as we get started, we like to do parent focus groups, and we'll probably have some after we have one and invite parents to give us feedback after the year gets started. But we definitely don't want to do anything that causes more stress on the home. And so that's the reason we tried to be so transparent and making sure that families at their fingertips through the website can get access to all the lessons and information and help desk and whatever type of support that they need. So I would just say if any parent needs extra support to reach out to the district, let us know, because we definitely want to help and help all of us get through this period of this pandemic, which is new, and it is challenging. So we appreciate everything that the parents do, and we definitely recognize the difficulties that could be there.
Okay.
One of the things I would like to add to that is at the end of the summer, they did hold a parent group, and I listened in on it. And the parents who participated using the form that we're using now, this program with the playlist, they felt, and I mean, one of the things that they said was that I felt like I was being a parent and not a teacher. And that was very important to us, because I believe that's where that level of stress does come from, is the concern, am I supposed to know this? Am I supposed to teach, children things that I may not have looked at in years? And the answer to that is no. The teachers are going to be doing the teaching, and so hopefully that will take some of the pressure off of the guardians or whomever it is watching the students. So again, I'll reiterate what Mrs. Miner said, is that we will offer support. And if you need more support than that, do check with us. We do have some partnerships, and we may be able to help people if it's more social emotional help that they need versus just academic. Thank you.
What sort of classes will replace elective classes like cooking and swimming?
Well, I know the middle school and high school schedules are complete. We tried to keep as many classes the same that we could to provide the same type of electives with the arts. We definitely do still have the culinary arts program, and our teachers have been trained on how to do it online. I think all of us are familiar with all of the cooking channels and things like that are out there. So obviously we're not able to bring people into the building to actually cook, but Mrs. Bell and the support staff that work with her are ready, getting the materials and everything ready to go. Our art classes are still going to happen. It'll all be virtually. So we obviously cannot do swimming because for safety reasons, we're not going to bring people into the building for that course, but we're having just about all the other courses. And you'll get more information on that when we start sharing out the technology and when you report to the buildings to get the details of your students' classes, the schedule.
Okay. I'm checking for additional questions. I know one thing that I like to share is that we do have our partnership with Five Rivers School-Based Health Center. And so there is their office hours available daily for vision, dental, medical. And so I'd like to put that link for the lifetime consent along with this information on the district social media pages. The question, how will math be taught this year? There is so many changes and of course my screen blacked out. There was much difficulty in the spring learning these math new concepts online. Will there be additional supports? And this is a high school question.
There will be additional supports. As we mentioned, we'll have support people linked to the classroom in addition to the teacher. So, and we also plan to provide, and more information coming soon, some kind of after school tutoring, but it would be virtual. The teachers have actually learned a lot of the tips, best practices of online learning with the use of videos and all types of ways to demonstrate the math so that students aren't struggling, whereas before it may have been more traditional, but they were having to do it from home. This time you'll see a lot of interaction, a lot of project-based, a lot of video taped modeling so that the children have more support and the students can master the courses better. You'll also have targeted times when there could be small group or one-on-one tutoring if your child needs it as well.
Thank you, Mrs. Minor. When will students get their schedules and how will they be getting them?
The students will get their schedules at the high school and the middle school when they pick up their technology, and that's going to be it'll be scheduled in small groups beginning the week of August 10th. There may be a way electronically they can get them sooner, but right now everything is going to start as far as technology schedules and orientation for the families. The week of August 10th is when they'll be scheduled. And, so some families will be scheduled that week. Other families may have their appointments the week of the 17th. But during that 2-week period, everyone will be receiving their virtual. They'll go into the building physically to pick up their equipment and any kind of learning kit that they may need for their child, as well as getting all of the scheduling and details on how to log in and preliminary expectations.
Thank you. And again, I'm checking our email account, and that is talktous@trotwood.k12.oh.us. And even after this session ends, parents and stakeholders, feel free to email those questions in, as we will attempt to do our very best to answer them. And at this time, I have no questions from our either link.
Well, it's 2:45, so I hope you've enjoyed listening to these questions. I know that we have, and as Ms. Jordan Isaacs has said, we will continue to take them and answer them. But if there are no more right now, then I would like to say that we're off, and we appreciate you taking the time. Yes. Okay, we'll do it. Okay.
Can we get a supply list? The tax holiday is the weekend of August 7th through 9th.
I will check, but I thought the building websites had supply list on them. Mm-hmm. And if they are not, we will make sure we let the principals know now to please update it. Yeah, we definitely will do that. Great question. But normally they're on the website, but if they're not, because maybe it hasn't been updated, we'll make sure that happens this week.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for your time, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.